So today in class we talked about how to come up with an equation when presented with an application or a word problem. And I think part of the thing you need to remember is when you go into solving any word problem, you need to have a plan of attack. Look for things, small steps that you know you can do. And this is just kind of how I look at writing a system of equations when I'm presented with a problem, okay? The first thing I look at is, what is the question asking me to find? And like we've talked about in class, math is different than your other classes. In the other classes, the main idea is found basically at the beginning of your paragraph or at the beginning of the page. In math, the main idea, or what they're asking you to find, is the last sentence. It's the question. What are they asking you? And so if you want to know what your variables are, what x is going to stand for and what y is going to stand for, look at the question they're asking. It's the last sentence. And that will let you know what x and not y will be. After you've established that, then look at what two things are the numbers describing in the problem. Another thing that seems to overwhelm people, there's just a lot of numbers in these problems, and you have to know what goes where. You may have numbers in the problem, some dealing with money and some dealing with amounts and things like that. And so look at, what I look for first is I look for totals, okay? So look for any totals in the problem, because what that will do is it will let you set up the equals part of the problem, because we know that equations are going to be equal to a total. So that's a place that you can start as well. Once you have those totals written down, it'll let you know what the entire equation is going to be about. If you have a total amount of money, that equation is about money. If you have a total number of tickets sold, that whole equation is going to be about the tickets that you sold. Once you have the equation set up, then you just need to choose. Do I want to use substitution to solve this system, or do I want to use elimination? And that is completely up to you, whichever method you like best. So let's look at this example down here. It says, to raise money for new football uniforms, your school sells silkscreen t-shirts. Short sleeve t-shirts cost the school $5 each and are sold for $8 each. Long sleeve t-shirts cost the school $7 each and are sold for $12 each. The school spends a total of $2,500 on t-shirts and sells all of them for $4,200. How many of the short sleeve t-shirts are sold? Okay, so step one, let's figure out our variables. If we look at the question that's being asked, if you look at the last statement, it says how many of the short sleeve shirts are sold? Well, right there, that means X is your short sleeve shirts, okay? The question they are asking, okay? We can also then kind of infer that if X is a short sleeve shirt, then Y would be a long sleeve shirt. They didn't really ask us for that. However, that is the other type of category that we're looking at in the problem. All right, so we've done step one. Now step two is where we need to start looking at our equations. Look through the problem and see if you can find any totals, okay? Well, if I read through, it says the school spends a total of $2,500. There's a total. And that $2,500 represents what it cost the school. So I'm just going to write cost there as a note to myself. Another total I see as I read through them is they sold all of them for a total of $4,200. That is what they sold the shirts for. What that lets you know is that even though all the numbers in this problem are about money, the first equation should be about values that it cost the school. The second equation is all about money that they made, all right? So if we go through, you can ask yourself, well, how much did a short sleeve shirt cost the school? It cost the school $5. So we can write that as $5 per shirt. It cost the school $7 for each long sleeve. And you have an equation. The first one is done. The second equation is about money that you can make. How much did the school make when they sold a short sleeve shirt? They made $8. How much did the school make when they sold a long sleeve shirt? They sold them for $12. And there is your second equation. From here, it's completely up to you. You can either do substitution or you can do elimination. Me personally, since the x's, the y's, the equal signs, everything lines up, I would choose elimination. And so that's what I'm going to use. Now, the other nice thing about these type of problems is you don't always have to solve for both. It didn't ask us about short sleeve and long sleeve. It only asked about short sleeve, which was x. So I only have to solve for x, which means I'm going to choose to eliminate the y's. Now, I need my y's to be opposites, and the common multiple between 7 and 12 is 84. So I am going to multiply the top equation by positive 12. So that I get opposites, I'm going to choose to multiply the bottom equation by negative 7. That will make this turn out to be a negative 84. So my top equation, when I multiply everything by 12, I will get 60x plus 84y equals 30,000. When I multiply the bottom equation all by negative 7, I will get negative 56x minus 84y equals negative 29,400. Okay? And again, the reason I multiplied by negative 7 is you want these numbers to be opposite in sign. It really doesn't matter which one you multiply by the negative. Just make sure that you do one of them. And so now when I add my equations together, that will go to 4x, 84y and negative 84y eliminate, equals, and when I add those together, I get 600. When I divide by 4, I now know that x is 150. So they sold 150 short sleeve shirts.